So in today's video I'm going to be talking about Sparkle, who is going to have her first rerun banner in about a week's time, and whether or not I think you should pull for her if you haven't already back in 2.0. Before I start today's video, I just want to let you guys know that I'm kind of back to my normal uploading schedule where I post one video per week, and so if you don't want to miss out, then subscribe and turn on that notification bell. And that's enough self-promotion, and let's get straight into today's video. First up, I'm going to talk about her kit, and this part of Sparkle is the main reason why I didn't pull for her all the way back in 2.0. At the time I compared Black Swan's and Sparkle's kits, and I decided to go for Black Swan instead, and this part is also the main reason why I wanted to make this video in the first place. It's not like Sparkle's kit is bad. I mean, not only is she the best support for characters who use a lot of skill points like Dang and IL, and the amount of offensive buffs that she provides is crazy. It's just that at the time I was trying to put together a Kafka team, and so pulling for Black Swan was what I prioritized. Either way, I'll show you guys Sparkle's kit, and hopefully you'll see why I think she's still in the meta. And I'm going to skip over her basic attack as there's nothing special about it. Her talent is what makes her special among all the top tier supports in the game in my opinion. What it does is that it raises the maximum number of skill points by 2, making it 7, while also increasing allies damage for every skill point that they consume. This damage increasing effect can be further enhanced by her ultimate, turning it from a 6% damage increase per stack to 16% per stack. And that's not all, because it also recovers 4 skill points for the team. And of course there's also her skill, which is kind of similar to Bronia's, where you can select one teammate and advance their action by 50%, and also increase their crit damage by a certain percentage of Sparkle's own crit damage. And last but not least, there's also her technique, which you can use before entering a battle. And when you use a technique, you'll start off with 5 skill points in a battle, which enables for more flexible plays being made. There's also these 3 major traces, with her Ascension 6 trace being the most important one, and why she would want to be paired up with quantum characters, and I'll talk about this in more detail in the team comp part of this video later. That's everything about her kit, and I think you guys see why Sparkle synergizes super well with characters that heavily rely on their skills, as she basically gets rid of this skill point problem that they have while also providing a considerable amount of damage buffs. And in most situations, this allows for a team's full potential to be unlocked, and I'll just give you guys an example for this. So imagine an Acheron team with Fu Xuan and Silver Wolf. All of them except for maybe Fu Xuan would be using their skills every single round, and in this case, having Sparkle on the team will allow this to happen consistently throughout the battle. Acheron can use her skill to get ultimate stacks every turn, and Silver Wolf can apply debuffs and type weaknesses onto enemies every turn too. In short, this is why I think she's still in the meta, even though you have characters like Robin and Ranmei who are also top tier supports, and the thing is that none of these characters make her obsolete. Another important thing that I want to mention is that Sparkle herself can also use her skill every turn too if built properly, which ties into the next part of the video, so let's move on. Alright, onto her light cone and relic options. I'll start with her light cone options first. Of course, her signature light cone is going to be her best in slot, as it just gives a ton of crit damage and crit rate to the rest of the team with its passive. This buff is stackable for other characters, and 1 stack is obtained every 4 skill points that are consumed. In other words, it's like Sparkle's talent buff, but instead of a flat damage increase, it's a crit damage and crit rate buff. It also helps with Sparkle's skill, as it gives Sparkle crit damage too, which contributes to the multiplier of it. Since Star Rail's light cone banner is a 75-25 system, I actually think it is worth it if you're considering getting this light cone. But of course, some of you guys won't have enough Stellar J's to pull for this light cone, me included, and that's no problem, because you can also use Braun's signature light cone if you have it. You can purchase it without spending money for Starlight that you've saved up from your previous pulls, and this makes this light cone one of the best light cones for any Harmony character in my opinion. Plus, I think it's also a little bit broken that this light cone enables Sparkle to recover 5 whole skill points with her ultimate when having this light cone equipped. As for 4-star options, go for Past and Future, as it's just like a mini version of Bronia's one, giving a flat damage increase for every skill point consumed. Moving on to Sparkle's relics, run 4-piece Messenger for the team-wide speed bonus when using her ultimate, and 2-piece Broken Keel for the team-wide extra 10% crit damage. As for main stats, go for crit damage for the body piece, speed for the feet piece, HP percent or defense percent for the planisphere, and energy regen for the link rope. The reason for this is that you will want to use your ultimate as much as possible, so that there's always skill points for the team. As for substats, go for crit damage primarily, and also look out for speed as well, because you will want to make sure that Sparkle has 1 speed lower than the main DPS, so that that character can make the most out of Sparkle's skill, which advances their action by 50%. In an ideal situation, the DPS character would attack first, and when it's Sparkle's turn, you would use her skill to allow the DPS's action to be advanced. Also, keep in mind that you will also need 30% effect resistance for the Broken Keel's effect to work. And these are basically the same stats that Bronya wants, so if you already have a set of relics for Bronya ready and can't be bothered to farm for an extra set, you can always just take Bronya's set and put it on Sparkle. For team comps, this is where it's a little bit hard to pinpoint the best team for Sparkle. Besides keeping her Ascension 6 trace in mind, in which it is better for a team of Sparkle to have multiple quantum type characters, she kind of just works with most DPS characters in the game. I've said this a few times already, but she is the best support for DPS characters who spent a lot of skill points, and her skill also makes her a decent support for characters with low speed or deal most of their damage through one part of their kit only, like Acheron for example, as I've mentioned, or even a Genti who needs a lot of energy for his ultimate. And apart from these two types of DPS characters, she also synergizes well with follow-up attack orientated DPS characters like Dr. Ratio or Clara, since their follow-up attacks can also make use of Sparkle's talent. Basically, because of her flexibility, she can fit into the support role slot of most teams in the game. And of course, I know that there would be teams like Firefly's team that would want specific support characters, in this case Rame and the Harmony Trailblazer, and in these situations, of course it makes sense that Sparkle would not be chosen. But either way, I'm still going to give you guys a team that I'm very interested to try out for myself if I ever decide to pull for Sparkle, and that is this Acheron team on the screen right now, which seems like a better version of the Acheron team that I'm running currently. I mean, I will also need to pull for Fushuan for this version of the team, but to be honest, I think Aventurine should be enough and be fine, and I'm only going to be missing out on a tiny bit of Sparkle's Ascension 6 trace. In conclusion, should you pull for Sparkle? Well, it kind of depends on what characters you already have on your account. For me, having Sparkle on my account is probably not going to make much difference in situations like MOC or other game modes, as I already have a few maxed out teams on my account. That said, you still need to keep in mind that her unique role of being a skill point replenisher is definitely not going to be replaced anytime soon, and so if you were like me and missed out her first banner, then yeah, I'd say that it is a good idea to pull for her. Let me know your thoughts on Sparkle in the comment section down below, like if you enjoyed today's video, and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!